FDLR. Keep that at the back of your mind. We'll come back to it shortly. Let's first of all talk about ADF. This is a Ugandan terrorist group that is operating inside Congo. It's one of more than 100 rebel groups that are fighting in Congo for different reasons. We don't always talk about them, but it's important to know that these 100 groups have different motivations of being in Congo, of fighting in Congo. The one thing that they all have in common is that they are brutal, heartless, and ruthless, and they kill civilians, women, children, innocent civilians. They kill without a care in the world, because the only thing fueling them is that murderous rage, murderous motivations to reach their eventual goals, eventual ends, which are different. In the case of ADF, it is a terrorist group that is fueled by the Islamist, jihadist motivation that fuels so many other terrorist groups. Embedded in that may be political desires to oust Ugandan President Museveni, but that is not the domineering reason. They are right there, killing innocent civilians in Congo. Now, let's go back to FDLR. First of all, I'm going to tell you about a good friend of mine in Rwanda. Her name is, we'll call her Marie to protect her. She's only 28 years old. She lost her entire family, parents, brothers, sisters, cousins in the genocide. And Marie is convinced that FDLR is regrouping in the neighboring Congo to one day come back. You see, most of you and myself have never lost anybody in a genocide. Our countries have never even experienced a genocide, most of us. So we should never negate the feelings of somebody like Marie. What she went through is horrendous, and it's going to take a lifetime to keep dealing with that. So Marie does not look at FDLR in the same way that you and I look at it, as just one of the 100 or so groups. Marie's pain should not be diluted or negated by anybody. The reason I give you that background is to remind you that behind each of these terrorist organizations are civilians. Behind each of these rebel groups in the Congo are civilians, not supporting them, but viscerally opposed to what they're doing. Now, if any of us appears to diminish what FDLR is doing in Congo, if any of us appears to treat it as less deserving of our condemnation than other groups, then you lose out people like Marie completely. In fact, you motivate them to want to join the likes of M23, which is another group that is doing horrendous things in Congo, killing innocent civilians. What we need to do is to be opposed to this murder of the innocents. We need to be opposed to innocent people in this great country suffering at the hands of these groups. We should not take sides with any of these groups. We should not treat any of them as merely fighting for the people. Yet, they're destroying the people. The reason I belabor to explain this is to remind us all that peace in Congo will not be attained by theoretic, eloquent arguments for or against either of these groups and singling them as the root of everything that Congo is going through. Congo is more like a cancer patient who has multiple tumors inside them, who is in need of a scalpel, a skillful scalpel from an empathetic and highly skilled surgeon who can remove all those tumors and ensure that there's no relapse. that bit of ensuring that there's no relapse is a political issue. Only part of the battle can be won in the battlefield through military might. A huge chunk of this will only be won at the political level. So we must put pressure on all the political leaders, not just in the East African region, the Central Africa region, but also globally. Those that are supporting either of these factions. Because to a certain extent, this is also a proxy war between bigger powers. We must put pressure on all these people so that we derive political victories and political settlements that will keep people like Marie safe and also keep the Congolese safe and keep Ugandans safe. It doesn't help to bring peace in one country and start war in another country. It doesn't help. Because as long as my neighboring country is at war, as long as there's no peace in my neighboring country, there is no peace in my own country too. There may be passive peace, but in reality, there is no peace. So we're in this together, and we must be able to wield the scalpel of a surgeon in removing these tumors, and not the missiles, and not bravado, and not, a very obstinate, stubborn insistence of our own point of view from the comforts of our respective desks and countries. We've got to wield that empathetic, skillful scalpel of a surgeon. And we have to remain tireless. And if we have difference of opinion about some of the causes of what's going on in Congo, we owe each other the benefit of knowing that we're united by the bigger picture of seeking for peace.